Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Today on Variant, I give you the history of the King of Monsters Godzilla. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I could really go for a slice of New York pizza. I'm your host, Arris. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm a pretty big monster fan, and Godzilla is definitely up there on my list as far as favorites go. Just the whole concept of Godzilla has always fascinated me since I was a kid, watching all his old movies on TV when they would have Godzilla marathons. So today, I'm going to give you guys some of his history in general, as well as some of his history from the comic books. And what better time to do this than around the time of his new movie? Not wasting any time, Godzilla was created by Tomoyaki Tanaka, Ishiro Honda, and E.G. Tsuburaya. Now, I'm sure I butchered those names, but just because I like Godzilla doesn't mean I can pronounce foreign names well, so I'm sorry. Tsuburaya is also the man who created Ultraman, who's another fan-favorite Japanese character. Godzilla, however, made his debut in 1954 in the Japanese film Gojira, before he became internationally known as Godzilla. Godzilla was created because of the United States' success of King Kong, which led to Tomonaki Takanaka, again butchered his name, creating his own gigantic monster Godzilla. He drew inspiration from the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and invented a monster to serve as a metaphor for the destructive nature of nuclear weapons. As for the look of the monster, well, his Japanese name Gojira is described as a cross between a gorilla and a whale. The whale represents his aquatic nature and sheer size, and the gorilla represents his sheer strength and strategic thinking he does when he's fighting against other monsters. Contrary to popular belief, Godzilla was not the idea of the American distributor. Before Toho Studios sold the film to US distributors, Toho International Division had originally marketed an English subtitled print under the title of Godzilla King of Monsters, which was shown briefly in Japanese American theaters. So Toho came up with Godzilla as an English translation of the name Gojira. Now that I told you a little bit of how Godzilla was created, let's talk about his origin. But before I do, I just want to mention there have been many different tellings and retellings of Godzilla and his origin over the years, but I'm going to talk about his most widely used one and/or my favorite. Godzilla was once a dinosaur known as a Godzillasaurus, where he somehow survived the extinction of the dinosaurs and dwelt on Lagos Island, where he once saved a Japanese platoon in World War II in 1944. 10 years later, H-bomb testing started to increase, and when the H-bomb hit close to Lagos Island, the dinosaur mutated into the monster known as Godzilla. It became far larger, stronger, and more powerful, and gained a radioactive atomic ray. The monster was unstoppable, or so it was thought. When a device called the Oxygen Destroyer killed the original Godzilla, a new Godzilla was born, who was even bigger and stronger, with a more powerful atomic ray and thicker skin. Now, as much as I love Godzilla, I love comic books even more. So what happens when the two become one? This. Godzilla made his US comic debut in his own title called Godzilla King of the Monsters in August of 1977, which was published by Marvel Comics, who also gave Star Wars their comic book debut the very same year. Good old Marvel. Godzilla King of the Monsters lasted 24 issues from 1977 to 1979. The series thrust Godzilla completely into the Marvel Universe, which I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty awesome. Godzilla's time at Marvel made for some pretty cool moments, 3 of which has always stood out to me, which are Godzilla fighting Hercules and giving him a hell of a time at that, Godzilla fighting Thor and taking a hit from his hammer only to feel a little bit of pain, and lastly, Godzilla fighting the freaking Avengers. So for Godzilla and Avengers fans, that's like a dream come true. After Marvel series had long finished, Dark Horse Comics decided to start a Godzilla comic book series based on the Heisei Godzilla. The Heisei era is a term used to identify the years between the mid-80s and the mid-90s. In 1987, which was the year I was born, Dark Horse Comics published Godzilla King of the Monsters. Dark Horse continued to publish Godzilla comics for the next 12 years, from one-shots to miniseries and so on. In 2010, IDW obtained the rights to produce Godzilla comics, and they started with the ongoing Godzilla Kingdom of Monsters and the miniseries Godzilla Gangsters and Goliaths. They also published a series, Godzilla Legends, which focuses on the various monsters he battles, and currently putting out a title called Godzilla Rulers of the Earth, which recently had an issue where he was fighting the Gargantuas. Who are some other awesome monsters from Toho Studios? I'm just a fan of kaijus in general, and for those of you asking, what's a kaiju? It's a Japanese word that literally translates to strange creature. Now, if you're wondering how many movies Godzilla has been in, well, the answer is a crap ton, but more specifically, he's appeared in 28 Toho Studios movies, 1 TriStar movie, which was terrible, and lastly, the new Legendary / Warner Brothers movie being released May 16th, which brings us to a grand total of 30. I see a lot of people ask, is Godzilla good or bad? And over the years, I guess he's been portrayed as both, you can say, but the best way to look at it, I think, is Godzilla is a force of nature. I mean, he is an animal/monster first and foremost, and he's extremely territorial, hence he's always fighting other giant monsters that are trying to invade Earth and or his territory. And speaking of fighting monsters, I have to mention at least some of the monsters Godzilla has fought over the years. You have Destroya, Mechagodzilla, Mothra, Space Godzilla, Rodan, Biollante, Orga, Angrias, and of course, his arch nemesis, King Ghidorah or Ghidorah. As for Godzilla's powers, well, he has a ton. His trademark power is his atomic ray, which is capable of devastating roughly 1/4 of Tokyo in a single blast. A not so well known ability is to project a field of nuclear energy from his body, which is called a nuclear pulse. He used the nuclear pulse ability in the movies Godzilla vs. Biollante, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Mothra, and so on. Godzilla's body not only generates radiation, but it absorbs radiation as well. Increased amounts of radiation are capable of boosting Godzilla's already overwhelming power. Godzilla has regeneration power, so any attack that does harm to him or breaks his hide, it heals almost instantly. His tail is extremely powerful, which is used for jumping, smashing, or whatever he wants to do with it. And he has huge bone-like dorsal fins on his back that can cause some serious damage as well. And finally, everyone who's watched my History of episodes before know at the end of every episode I give reading recommendations for the character I'm talking about that episode, and Godzilla is no exception. You have Godzilla King of the Monsters from Marvel, Godzilla Rulers of the Earth Volume 1 and 2, Godzilla Kingdom of Monsters Volume 1, and Godzilla Legends. Buying razors sucks, right? You have to go to the store, shell out like 20 bucks for some ridiculous razor contraption. My razors worked fine without the vibrating handle or built-in seat warmer and laser pointer. Fortunately, there's a company that's doing away with all that nonsense. It's called Dollar Shave Club, and it couldn't be simpler. For a few bucks a month, Dollar Shave Club ships amazing razors and other bathroom stuff right to your front doorstep. Their blades are just as good as the big shave companies at a fraction of the price. Look at that razor. Freaking awesome. They've also got Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter to make your shave even more buttery smooth. And you have to try One Wipe Charlie's. Now, you may be like, what's a One Wipe Charlie? They're peppermint infused butt wipes for men. Now you might be like, what? But trust me, once you use one of these bad boys, you will never go back. It's like toilet paper for the rich, as I've come to call it. Shave time, shave money. Clever, right? Join now at dollarshaveclub.com/variant. First up for Wednesday, May 14th, we have Superman Wonder Woman issue 8. Wonder Woman must deal with what Superman is becoming. Will she have to slay her lover to save him? Now we have Future's End issue 2. The entire DC universe gathers to mourn a fallen hero. Plus, the secrets of the DCU 5 years later arrive at Lois Lane's doorstep. Here we have Nightcrawler issue 2. Someone is hunting down Nightcrawler's loved ones, and Nightcrawler and Wolverine are determined to find out who it is and to what end. And finally, we have Batman Eternal issue 6. Something hellish is brewing in the tunnels under Arkham Asylum, and Batman's gonna need help to stop it. Well, that brings another episode to a close, but now I'm gonna go watch some Godzilla movies because all this Godzilla talk has made me want to watch some Godzilla movies. But remember, you can like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I will see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. Arris Quinones. Now, I'm not sure, Josh. Not wasting any time, Godzilla was created by Tomoyuki Tanaka. Godzilla was created by Tomoyuki Takanana. Not wasting any time, Godzilla was created by Tomoyuki Takanaka, Ishiro Han. What, Josh?